we had opened up, we got 80 to 90 applications in just a couple of days for a mid-level designer. That's mad. That's absolutely mad again. So it is hard. I do know of a few people I'm mentoring who, are finding it really hard to get a leg in, and they're willing to do anything to get the job. Unfortunately, it's just not panning out. I've There are lots of people losing hope because they're not getting jobs. I'd say don't. Like, in a company, you're a number. But for
out of college, I applied for every role possible, to be honest. Like, up to senior, and I applied for every roles. And some of the roles, I was actually interviewed for senior position when I was just out of college. But
you can work for yourself. Yeah, you can be an entrepreneur, you can start your own consultancy, you can do whatever you want. But don't
hi, Pavitra. You've been in the industry for so long, and today's episode is background and hiring. I'm assuming you have seen a lot. Before we start the episode, I would like to get a quick intro on your background and on your experience on hiring and what you have seen so far.
Okay. Hey, Yash, and hello, everybody tuning in. I am Pavitra, and I have been in the UX field for over 14 years now. It's been a decade, seems really long, but that's how it is. When I started my career, I started as a graphic designer. It was not my calling, I didn't enjoy it, but I ended up joining a consultancy as a graphic designer. They had a new visual design team. I asked to do a test. I passed the test. I went on to the visual design, but they also had a UX team. Oh, what are they doing? And I got more and more involved and then slowly became a UXer. So my whole journey into UX started with the consultancy, and over this period of 14 years, I have worked in consultancies, I have worked in startups, I worked in Fortune 500 companies, and for clients all across the globe, for over 20 million users across the world. So, from a specific hiring perspective for designers, when I joined, UX was a new and upcoming thing. There were not many UXers. Our our work was very specialized and expertise. We were called experts. But now there's so many courses, there's so many certifications. Everybody wants to be a UXer because they see the value in this role. Now, because there are so many UXers, the competition is at an all-time high. There are more UXers than jobs available, and it's very competitive out there.
Wow, that's interesting. So, like you said, when you first joined, you accidentally stumbled on the UX. I think it's for me the same. I was a software engineering student and I accidentally stumbled in college, but not at work into UX. There's like really, I heard so many people accidentally stumble into UX, like they don't know UX exists. And most of the people from graphic design or software engineering. You mentioned a really good point. When you were trying to get into UX within internally, they gave you a test. I'm assuming it's a design assessment or something to understand. Am I right? And later you mentioned just the evolution of the role. At the first, it was considered as an expertise role. Not many people know what UX is, and it's very, oh my God, it's like a scientific, like very high level UX position. But now, with especially after the Apple phone release, the designer, the title
Mm-hmm.
designer, and recently after pandemic, with like explosion of bootcamp courses, get a job in UX, blah blah blah. So there's so many influx of UX designers. So we can see two patterns of evolution. One is explosion in the market, like the number of UX designers
Mm-hmm.
and design job being very competitive. But I want to understand, did the hiring process change too? Did the hiring process is becoming tougher too?
I think yes. Initially, I think when we were applying for UX jobs, it's okay. Do you know what the double diamond process is? Or what process do you follow? If we give you this as a problem, how will you solve it? The expectation was just a thought process because you're in a time limit. Now the expectation is for you to give a full let's say, an info architecture of your plan, and then also the outcome within the same time frame. So while previously we could stick to the time frame, now we do we can understand that people take a lot longer to complete the test. They'll probably sit the entire night finishing the test because the output is just that refined. And they do this because there's so much competition. Where I was probably competing with, let's say, two or three other designers in the past, now I'd be competing with over 80. For one
God.
mid-level role that a couple of years back we had opened up, we got 80 to 90 applications in just a couple of days for a mid-level designer. That's mad. That's absolutely mad.
Jesus. I see like in LinkedIn, I don't know whether it's true or not. Like, when you see a job application, especially like junior or mid or senior, 100 plus, 200 plus. And I was
That's
like,
on
it's only
LinkedIn.
been,
That's just on LinkedIn, though. There'd be recruiters reaching out. There'd be people going onto the company website and applying directly from there. There'd be people reaching out for referrals and applying through there. So, what on LinkedIn, if you double the number, is probably the number of applications the companies are getting.
oh my God,
It's probably
it's scaring me to be
crazy.
honest.
Yeah.
Coming about the roles, right? Is it only for mid and senior and junior level positions, or is it the competition for every type of UX role, every level of UX role?
Every level. People who have jobs are just holding on to the roles as well because they're enjoying the job or they love the company and they like the team. For whatever reason, they are still staying put. Any role that opens up, there'd be 100 plus applications. Landing that job would be like a sense of achievement for the person who applied.
Yeah.
But be it a junior role, be it a senior, lead, manager, head, director, even director level roles, there would be many applications. People looking to, people looking to level up, people looking to continue on, people who have been let go but who want to be employed again. There would, there'd be n number of reasons for people to apply. So
Mm.
it's rarely ever that one role for any hierarchy will receive less than five.
It is like madness, I would
Yes.
say. Ask you, so you said like people are staying as long as possible in a role, right? Like just holding on for various reasons, while maybe some people are applying but still holding on
Mm,
until they get a better opportunity for some reason. Is it like the type of role? Is it only for there were different types of job roles, like especially UX? It may be a permanent, a consultant, as you mentioned, a contractor, a part-time UX designer, maternity cover, vagera, vagera, so many. Is it the same competition for everything, even for contract jobs? And like part-time jobs, is it only for permanent jobs this competition as
no,
well?
no, no. I think permanent jobs have the highest level because there's the job security, there's the added benefits that come with the company, all of that. But the other roles themselves also. So if you're not able to land a permanent job, one of the best ways I'd recommend is to be a contractor or a consultant. It'll be a few months project, but those few months you go in, you do your best, let them see value in you, and they would want to hire you full time. If there is no role out, they want just, let's say, a maternity cover, you will probably work with a designer when they come back from that cover, or you can move on to your to a different role. But the call on whether staying with the company or not is on you. So you have the power if you go in through as a consultant or as a contractor because it's set duration. Go and do your best. If they want to hire you, which probably they will because they need your experience and expertise and for you to continue the work that you've been doing for them, chances of getting hired into full-time position are much higher. If you're
Much
freelancing,
higher.
I think the
So
it's very different. For freelancing, you're pretty much, I'd say, more, I would consider it personally more like a hobby for you to freelance. Like you love doing it, or you want to get some practice, or you want to build up your portfolio, so you freelance. But when you're actually serious about it, you consult, you contract, or you try to get a leg in.
So, other question I want to ask, if someone is just starting out in UX, they need money, they need a first job, proper job, because I'm assuming freelance is really hard when you really didn't work in a UX position. But for them, because the job market is super competitive, they always, even for junior, they need 4 years, 5 years of experience for a junior role. And that's very interesting to see. So, for them, like, if they're seriously applying for jobs, so what weightage should they give? Is permanent job a better bet, or is it a contract a better job? Because I'm assuming when you go as a contractor or consultant, they expect to be you to be an expert. Like they don't expect you to have mentorship. So I'm assuming, like, what would you suggest for them? Which type of job role would be better to aim for?
For juniors, a permanent.
A
Because,
permanent.
like you rightly said, the level of expertise required, you'd need to be at least a minimum of a senior designer to be able to get contract jobs. Yeah. So juniors, even if they join as contract, they're not going to be paid as much. One. Second, they're going to be extremely overwhelmed with the hours from the company and the team. So, to have that kind of experience to call out the bullshit when it needs to be called out, to push back, to get the designs over the line, to collaborate with people from different verticals, with the tech team, get shit done. It's very hard for somebody who's a junior or a mid level design.
Mm.
So, for a junior, I'd say full time positions. Now, that's challenging in itself because with so much competition, they'll need designers, senior designers who are willing to apply for lower level roles just to get the foot in and then they climb back up again. So it is hard. I do know of a few people I'm mentoring who, are finding it really hard to get a leg in and they're willing to do anything to get the job. Unfortunately, it's just not panning out. But then I would say, you know what? Don't lose hope. Find your own projects. Is there anything that you are interested in? Think of it from an entrepreneurial perspective. Yeah. You want to do a travel app. Yeah. Or
Mm.
something to do with travel. You write blogs, you're traveling all across Europe or the world, and you're taking videos, you're a content creator. Is there anything you can do? Can you apply, let's say, the double diamond process in your approach to that content creation? You love to write. You're writing articles, you're commenting on other people's articles, whatever. Can you apply some UX design principles through your process and show that you are committed and you can evolve with the times? You don't need to do UX in a company to learn more about UX. You can create your own project for yourself, something that really drives you. And let's say you want to solve problems for travelers, okay, at the airport. So you
Mm.
go to the airports, people, you talk to them. That's your research. You get your insights, then you start building. So, what can you do? It is keep you occupied. Second, to build your
Mm.
portfolio. Third, it's going to give you the confidence to say, maybe a job is not what I'm looking for. Maybe I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be CEO and I'm going to mint millions. Like, the opportunity is endless. There are lots of people losing hope because they're not getting jobs. I'd say don't. Like, in a company, you're a number, but for
Yeah,
yourself, you're
that's
not. So you do the things that you want to do the way you want to do it. But see if you can apply some of the UX principles, design processes into your process, into everyday life. Yes.
That's very interesting. And coming back, like you said, is people are losing hope, right? Try different things. So I want to zoom in on this question. People are losing hopes that it's not panning out. You meant with the hiring, they're not even getting the interviews because I heard from few of the people, and it's also my experience when I'm starting as a junior out of college. I applied for every role possible, to be honest. Like, up to senior, not lead. I know my level. Like, I could bring it up to senior. And I applied for every roles. And some of the roles, I was actually interviewed for senior position when I was just out of college for UX job. And most of the jobs
Mm-hmm.
happen in that way. I got like mid to senior level job interviews. And there were not much graduate job. I came out in pandemic, by the way. So I graduated in pandemic, not a good time for me. But after that, like after I got my job, I got really curious. Pavitra, from hiring perspective, like how do you decide which person is going to get the interview? Because I interviewed for pretty big known names at a senior level when I was just a junior. I don't even have any experience. So I'm really curious. How does the hiring work there?
Is it for a specific role you're looking for? Because different roles have different criterias.
Okay, the thing I observed the pattern is it was again 3, 4 years back when I was applying in the pandemic before I got my job. So when I was applying, I applied for UX designer, meaning like mid level, and also senior product designers because those are the only roles available at that
Mm-hmm.
time. And I was applying, and after 6 months, I started getting callbacks. But those are like mid level to senior level job positions. And I went until the final interview. Then I got really curious. Hey, is it just how am I getting the interviews? I clearly don't like I'm a junior level. It's obvious even with the age, like when you see on the resume, this person just graduated. And I was assuming like what is the criteria for a person when they applied CV? I know ATS is like a black hole. We don't know which CV is going to split out. So apart from that, how do the company or the interviewers or hiring team decide which person to call in and which person to take till the end of the last interview? How does it work behind the scenes?
Okay. So let's go bottom up. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
start with a junior. For a junior, one, for anybody, the CVs need to pass through the system. So not all of them
Mm.
use AI. Yeah. Some of them actually have real robust systems where you apply, it goes directly into a portal and everything just gets set up. And we have to literally go and check every resume manually. But
Really? Okay.
it does happen, but that also helps us with not ignoring people who will bring value to the company, but just because they don't have terminologies on the resume that they don't get the resume doesn't get passed through. Yeah. So we did that. Every resume we went through, even for the mid level. For the junior, which role was he applying? Anyway. So for the junior, when you are looking, you want to see on the resume what they have studied, where they have studied, and what project they have applied. So a lot of these will have booking.com projects or projects. Like it's consistent across. That's how the universities teach. But at the same time, when you go onto the portfolio side, be it Behance or whatever, you can see the work process, you can see the presentation skills. If they're going directly to the outcome and not explaining enough of the process, it's a no. That means they probably jump directly into UI without giving other considerations. What we want to see is a process. Even for a junior level, that's the bare minimum. All of the soft skills can be taught. Yeah, including following a design process can be taught. But they need to know the basics because they're coming out of university.
Mm.
So but then when you go on to a senior level, it's totally different. Senior level, you need to be able to lead and mentor a junior designer. You forget lead and mentor, you need to be able to help them positively. Don't go like, oh, this person's taking away my time. Make it a part of who you are to grow into a leadership, to be a lead. Yeah, it's part of the process. As a senior, we expect a lot more collaboration for you to not ask questions whom to reach out to, for you to know whom to reach out to and to reach out to that person. So you will, or even if you ask me, hey, Avi, I need this information. How do I get it? I tell you, okay, reach out to this person in legal. You're like, okay, don't wait for me to reach out to legal to say that you will reach out. Well, okay, I'll get onto it. Reach out. Or if you know somebody who's, let's say, in legal already, maybe you had lunch with them one day, or you just said hello in the morning, you know who the person is, just reach out and say, hey, hi, I have a quick question for you, blah, blah, blah. I'm working on so and so. That kind of initiative brings you so many steps higher in the stakeholders you're working with. That means you're able to take ownership and leadership of projects to see them get done. That will help you elevate in your end year reviews to be considered for the level of a lead designer. Now, lead designer is totally different. Lead designer has to be able to officially mentor designers, to be able to help the entire team as and when required. Like the requirements are very different. As a lead designer, you'd expect the soft skills to be in place, like your communication should be great. You should be able to, as you grow higher on the ladder, you'll get a lot of pushback from stakeholders. You'll get a lot of opinions. You'll get a lot of nasty. How you deal with all of that comes your way. Your manager could help you. Ideally, I'd say talk to that person one on one, sort it out amongst yourselves. If it doesn't work, then get your manager in. But those kind of initiatives, again, to be able to manage stakeholders is very big. By the time you're a lead, you're also more business focused. Yeah. So you're like,
Mm.
okay, what are the KPIs? What are we driving towards? So then the senior drives towards, senior designers drive towards, the junior designers drive towards, even the interns know what KPIs they're working towards. So there's a lot of expectation that comes with each role as you climb the ladder.
It's more like as you go higher, it's more about responsibility. Like whether you do it or not, you're responsible to
Your
get that thing done and how you can
yeah,
expect this to.
levels. That includes knowledge. Yeah, that includes your soft skills. That also in today's world will include how well you can read numbers,
Mm.
insights from the company. I can't really read numbers. I'm really working hard on it, but the math just doesn't match with me. So then I reach out to the BI team, or I reach out to the analytics team, or I reach out to my PO and say, hey, can you help me make sense of this? There's no shame in asking people to help you if you don't know how to do something. There is shame in knowing you can't do it and just leaving it be.
Yeah,
So there's no.
that's interesting. So we're coming to the end. I just want to ask. So you said like you mentioned before at the very start of the episode, the way people are not only applying for jobs on LinkedIn, they're also reaching out. But majority of the people who are still new only know the traditional way or by networking, asking people like, did you know any job openings? Or I'll send you my CV. Can you keep it? And if anything opens, can you just give me a buzz or ring? Like I'm happy. So how to be more proactive? What's the right strategy from your experience to finding a job?
I, over my career, I have rarely ever gone through referrals. It's probably just been in recent times, but very rarely through referrals. Referrals help to a certain level. You get the job and you do a really good job. The person who's referred, their value in the company increases because then next time they refer, they're like, oh, this person is going to give us a really good, really good prospect. So we should definitely interview that person. But it also happens that because it's a referral, person being referred takes it really easy, expecting it to be an easy way in. A referral will only get you through to HR. Okay. You can let the head know or whoever in the design team know that I've applied for so and so role. But beyond just communicating that, they cannot help you through the process. So if you do a shit
Yeah.
interview, you're not going to get the results just because you know somebody in the company. I think that is the misconception that has started to happen in these days. People writing messages like, "Hey, how are you, dear? I'm
Oh,
looking.
that's
I saw
too
this
much.
thing.
Yeah.
I've seen your opening on LinkedIn. You know, I haven't received this kind in recent times, but in the past, but I know of somebody who has. So, is come on, be professional. Like even if we are friends, we are LinkedIn friends. It is still a professional platform. Yeah, you could reach out more professionally. Yeah, reference work sometimes. I would say if you are looking for a job, set notifications for the company, set notifications for the kind of job that you want on LinkedIn. Keep an eye out on any of these tests. Indeed, there are loads of these other job sites as well. I'd say
Mm,
I have notifications set on all of them, be it for lead designer, be it for contract job, be it for manager jobs. Also notifications. So anytime there's an opening that is relevant to me, a lot of times that's not relevant to me as well, I get. So it's on me to ignore or to actually go and show interest and to look at the JD. But it's there. So I think relying on people to get a job is fine. Your own initiative is much more important. Keep an eye out.
mm,
If you that badly want a job, seek them out. Find out what area you're interested in. Do you want to go e-commerce? Do you want to go sports? Do you want to go self-driving cars? Do you want to go health platforms like Fitbit or Aura? Like, what do you want to do? Narrow that down and start
mm,
applying. And don't say, I want to work only in Ireland. I want to work only in the UK. If you're able to have the freedom to travel and to work, I think it's the best. Husband and I have been continent hopping. We're exploring the world while working and living in countries, becoming a part of the culture, really enjoying it, and then moving on to the next. So that is also a very good way. Don't stay stuck. Why? The
mm.
world is big. The world is big. Where can you go for the best opportunity of your life for that time?
That's an interesting thing. We had such a lovely discussion on background and hiring, and also what you have seen so far, or also you had made some points from the candidate perspective. So, wrapping up this conversation, do you have any key takeaway or suggestion you want to give to like people watching it?
I would say, you guys, don't lose heart. You know, focus on what you love to do, what you want to do as your career. Yeah, if it's UX, go full throttle, apply for jobs, but find things that you love and apply UX principles, processes into your everyday life. I'll give you an example. I got a puppy. Yeah, I have a golden cocker spaniel puppy. And I had a Kanban board for her that said training to be done, training in, and aced her training. And we had post-its, and anytime we practice every day, but every time she moved, we started a new training, it would go from it, the post-it would move into in training. Once the training is done and she's doing it on cue without any treats, it would move into done. So I this is my practice in the way of the of into everyday life. If you can do that, it just becomes natural for you to start thinking everything from either an audit perspective or something that will inspire you or somebody else. It could help light bulbs in your mind. Well, then you don't need to go and work for a company. You can work for yourself. Yeah, you can be an entrepreneur. You can start your own consultancy. You can do whatever you want. But don't lose hope. There are jobs that are really great. We should have that experience working in a company, yeah, with lots of other people, with the politics, with all of the good stuff as well. But at the same time, if you're finding it hard, do what you want to do and just apply these principles in everyday life. Trust me, it works. It's worked for me for many years. I hope it works for you too.
Perfect. That's such a powerful message. Thank you so much, Pavitra. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you very much. Bye, guys.